Welcome to Racing to Win. It's our twice weekly preview show for racing in Hong Kong, but the midweek edition is a little different this week. We're at Sha Tin on Wednesday night for a 9-race all-weather program. So plenty of runners to try and get through and find a winner on the show. I've got Paul Alley and Tom Wood joining us, and Tom, the feature race, the fourth, the Class 2.
Yeah, it's a good race, Mark, that fourth race. There are 3 horses in it trying it for the first time. Mighty Giant certainly interesting, and Spirited Express rather getting into the race as well for Ricky Yu. So a couple of interesting runners there for him, but I really like the way Apache Pass has been going. He's back to his favourite course distance and surface.
He is now with Pierrong. We'll talk about Apache Pass through the show, but there's some bumper jackpots too, Paul.
Yeah, a really good one again to the Triple Trio. $5.7 million going into there, so it should get up to 11 million. And also in races 3, 5, 7 and 9, putting 800,000 into the first 4 and quartet merge pools as well.
All right, so plenty of jackpots for a quite old Wednesday night out at Sha Tin. Now, we have got a couple of scratchings that we do need to pass on, and we start in the first race. Number 10, Dashing Genius, is out. Tune 1 Glory comes in for Alex Lai, carries the 10 saddlecloth. And unfortunately, Maximus, a bout of colic. He's okay. He worked this morning, but not well enough to run. So race 4, number 9, Maximus, is out as well. Meeting details as we focus on a Wednesday night. They are as follows. 9 all-weather races for meeting 14 of the season. First race 6:45, the 2 races we focus on, the 1650 metre fourth and the 1200 metre Class 3, race number 8. Class 2, 1650, the fourth is the feature race of the night. King's Shield is back. His last run was in Korea when finishing down the track on the sand over there. Mighty Giant comes the all-weather for the first time. All for St Paul's is shooting for the hat-trick. Matthew Chadwick rides for Frankie Law. Apache Pass, as Tom said, a surface switch for him. So we Joy will have a surface switch 2 second up. You'll appreciate that. And Spirited Express goes to the 1650 for the first time. The only time he raced over 1600 was in the New Zealand 2000 Guineas. So this will be as far as he has competed over. What about the speed map here, Tom? Because we do have a horse like All for St Paul's in the race. Also his stablemate King Shield, and they both like to roll forward.
Yeah, so they both like to certainly go forward. King Shield, he likes to lead and get his own way, and when he can do that, sometimes he can be dangerous, but he is a bit hit and miss. There's King Shield. All for St Paul's, it was a tough, gritty effort from him, being able to beat his stablemate last time out to Paul and Muddy Catcher. You'd say Mighty Giant might be able to slot in somewhere. That they won't want to go 3 wide the whole trip.
No, he would try and push forward, but he's just lost a bit of that early speed, hasn't he? So I just thought the 2 Frankie Law runners will probably be first and second easily enough. Pearl and Tango next there, and Apache Pass should get a perfect run through back.
All right, so that's the speed map for race number 4. One of those likely pace angles is All for St Paul's. Nick was out at Sha Tin this morning, and All for St Paul's jockey is Matthew Chadwick.
Matthew, All for St Paul's is your ride in race 4 on Wednesday night. He's a horse very much in form coming into this week's race.
Yeah, he's off a last start win, so all seems good.
Just on that win last time out, obviously he went forward. He seems to have a really great attitude, this horse. Didn't want to get beaten. You must have been quite taken by the performance.
Well, he's shown that. He's very honest, and he tries his best. And it's a great pleasure to ride horses that do their best.
He's coming back to the all-weather. He has won on the all-weather over a little bit further. I guess no concern there as far as switching surface?
You wouldn't think so. I said he's won on the track, so his form, I believe, has been held. So hopefully another good performance.
Just given the nature that he runs these races, Matthew, he's drawn well. There's plenty of pace on in this race. Is he the type of horse that sort of could hand up the lead, or does he necessarily have to lead?
Well, last season I won on him sitting just off the pace, so I don't think it's a must. We'll have to see how much pace is in the race and what they want to do early. I haven't spoken to Frankie yet, so it's just a wait and see approach at the minute and see what the tactics are.
Given the nature of this race, obviously on the all-weather, he actually drops 3 pounds as well. So I guess that's going to be a positive factor as far as trying to make it a 3-timer, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the weight he's got to carry isn't all that heavy, so it's got to be a benefit, especially over the further distance. So looking forward to riding him again.
You're 2 from 2 on the horse. It'd be nice to keep that unbeaten record, I'm sure. Always nice to create this relationship with certain horses, I suppose.
Oh, for sure. A winner's a winner. And when you can string up those consecutive wins, it's definitely feather in the hat. So hopefully it continues.
Matthew Chedwick there, who rides all for St Paul's, looking to make it 3-4-3 on the horse. We move on, Paul, to our first of the replays, and Berlin Tango. This is at Happy Valley last time. He doesn't mind the all-weather. Savaquin unknown on the surface.
Yeah, so we'll see how he goes. But he's bred for it, Savaquin. I think he can run a bit of a race here. But look, Berlin Tango is a very hard horse to catch. This is only his second win here in Hong Kong. He has won one of them on the all-weather, though, to be fair. It's a small field, but it's whether he can put two together there.
That's the big question. The big thing that he's got in his weight is he's got a 10-pound claim, so he's only going to carry 119 pounds. You've got to probably put him in on that alone, but whether he does string two together remains to be seen because he's been inconsistent.
One horse that's been very consistent on the all-weather, Tom, is Apache Pass. This is him on the turf last time. Very strong field this, and his run wasn't bad at all, so he's going to love going to the inside course.
No, and it was pretty good this race, really, for him. He was wide, midfield. He fought on really well over the final stage. Of course, you've got Sawvest there, Keefe, Packing Victory, the Golden Scenery. They're all there. The Irishman pretty much next to him, who came out and won over the weekend at Sha Tin. And his run down the straight, I thought, was very good as well, first up, Paul.
Yeah, and this was 14. He steps up to 1650. He's a three-time course and distance winner, as we can see from this graphic as well. So, look, I think he's the one to beat, honestly. I think the race will be set up nicely for him. Small field, he'll be three back on the inside.
It's a good report for Apache Pass. Our next replay, Paul, and we've got Mighty Giant here now. This is him in the race behind California Spangle, the group race recently. However, he's unknown on the all-weather, but his trials have looked OK on it.
The thing with Mighty Giant, he's by power, and we've seen that progeny go really well on the all-weather. Willpower, sticks out as well. Thunderstrike. The horses like that can go well on the surface. He's been out of form for a while, though. He hasn't won since sort of April 21.
That's Willpower next to him there. Of course, he's been unfortunately retired, but he was doing his best work late there. And I agree with Paul, Son of Power should be able to handle the surface. And he's interesting coming out of those strong races because this is a lot weaker.
Disappointing for the all-weather stocks, as you said, Tom. Willpower on the retirements list last week. And finally, we're off to the trials. King Shield. He's been up at Chung Fa since coming back from that run in Korea. He's a hard horse to catch. He's likely going to lead. You can't imagine All for St Paul's is going to get in a speed battle with him. How did you assess him in this race?
Yeah, I've left him out in all honesty here. Big weight. I know he struck a bit of interference in the first turn in the race there in Korea, and he just battled on after that. He was beaten over 24 lengths. Sometimes he comes to the races, Paul, he's very good, and sometimes he comes and he's very ordinary.
Yeah.
So you just can't catch him.
No, well, he did win fresh up on a rating of 100 last time. He's on a rating of 103, so he's a similar rating, and he does go quite well fresh. So there is a couple of positives. I wasn't as harsh on him. I did include him.
All right, but Apache Pass, the one to beat?
Yeah, I think he's clearly on top of Apache Pass. This seems to be his go, the all-weather, and he goes nicely here. I put King Shield in for second. Didn't like the beach in Korea. It was sort of a deep sand there. It's a lot different from our one. All for St Paul's in there for third to be on the pace, and then So We Joy. So, look, I didn't find a spot for Berlin Tango in the end just because of his inconsistency. I end up with 6, 1, 4 and 7.
6, 4, 7 and 3, really keen on Apache Pass in this race. Coming back to a course distance surface here, I think is all going to suit him. Number 6, Apache Pass. 4, All for St Paul's, he'll be there, and he always gives his best. He's a 7-time winner from his 31 starts. So We Joy had trialled well before his last start, and I didn't think he was certainly disgraced there at all behind All for St Paul's. He battled on out wider, and Berlin Tango makes it in also. So 6, 4, 7 and 3.
And that is the preview for race number 4. We're off to a break here on Racing to Win, back with a whole lot more right after this. Welcome back to Racing to Win. We're working our way through the meeting at Sha Tin on Wednesday night with all 9 races on the all-weather. We've seen race number 4. We're going to have a look at race number 8 right now, and it's over the 1,200 metres for the Class 3s. Party Warrior comes here to this surface for the first time. Super Win Dragon carries an extra £9 for his easy win. Red Desert's a 3-time course and distance winner. Rev Parisian, first time on the surface. Glorious Starlight has the hood going on. Folds has his first start for Jamie Richards. Jolly Ruler, first up for the season, carries an extra £7 for the win back in July. Lucky Quality has the visor going off. And Call Me Teddy He was beaten favourite last time, eligible for the top of Class 4, but elected to go around here has Michael Cheng with the lightweight for Jack Wong. 1200 metre race here, Tom, so you know they're going to speed along. It's expected to be good. Who finds the top?
California Veins should be able to. He was pretty much on the speed when he won on the all-weather surface 2 stars to go despite stumbling at the start. Jolly Ruler, he can sit handy from his draw of 5. Looks a little tricky for Jerry Chow on the Rev Parisian Paul out of barrier number 9, but he has trialled well on the surface.
He does, yeah. So he's going to have to work a little bit to get across, and that should put the pace into the race. Horses like Lucky Quality, they've gone back. Glorious Starlight. Red Desert generally goes back over 1,200 metres and goes forward over 1,650. And Ice Legend, although he's got an inside draw with that pace, I think he'll be sort of midfield towards the back.
We know on the all-weather you can sit wide and still win, especially over the 1,200 metres.
Definitely.
All right. That horse there is going to be our focus. That horse is Folds. He's one of a number of new horses that Jamie Richards has debuted in the last couple of weeks. He got 2 in at the meeting. Call Me Lou as one, and Folds as the other.
Jamie, Folds will be your first runner, or one of your first, on the all-weather here in Hong Kong. He's trialled well recently, this fella.
Yeah, he's a transfer, but he's trialled up a couple of times quite well. He's quite a big horse. Been pleased with his trials. We put the blinkers on him for his second trial, and he seemed to cruise to the line quite nicely. But it's a bit of a learning curve with him, really. He's bred to be okay on the dirt. He's out of a mineshaft mare, and the owners were keen to have a go. So we thought we'd give him a chance first up and see how we get on.
Just an overall sort of assessment of those 2 trials that he's had for you. I mean, the last of them, he got his head in front, albeit just of Flying Ace, who's a handy horse. So I guess reading between the lines, he's certainly operated well on the surface, hasn't he?
He has, and he is a horse that raced well last season. And he's one of those horses, like most of them in Hong Kong, that when they have a break and come back for their second season, they do seem to improve a little bit. But we've been happy with him at home. He's been under no pressure in his trials. It's just going to be interesting from a learning perspective for me how the tempo is and how he handles that race day speed compared to trial speed, which is obviously quite different. But we are happy with him. We've put the pacifiers on him to help with the kickback. I'm not sure what sort of effect that has, but as I say, it's a learning experience for me and for the horse.
You mentioned obviously him being sort of a nice type of horse. I think he's put on 13 pounds or thereabouts. So are you happy with the way he's strengthened up since you've had him?
Yeah, he's put on a bit of weight. He wouldn't be the greatest eater for a horse of his size, and he doesn't seem to be a horse that takes a whole lot of work. So we've just tiptoed our way through the preparation a bit with him and learning as we go, but happy with how he's eating and his blood work seems good. So we go to the races happy with the horse, but as I say, race day pressure compared to trial pressure on the all-weather, we'll just have to wait and see.
Handicap has only given him an extra £1. He's only got an extra £1 to carry on his last start, which obviously wasn't for you. So I guess he's not too badly treated in the grand scheme of things in what looks relatively open this race.
Yeah, Chris So's horse has got good form. He was impressive last time, and the clock suggests that the win was as good as it looked to the eye. But you know, the Class 3 1200 on the grass here on Sunday was an awful lot stronger than it is on Wednesday. So there's positives and minuses for him, but he goes into the race in good shape.
I guess if he does handle the surface, Jamie, it gives you plenty of options going forward.
It does. As I say, he can continue to race on it if he handles it. If he doesn't handle it, it's only his first run for the season and we can get him back on the turf.
Jamie Richards there, Tom Folds, those 2 trials behind good horses. Yes, Flying Ace was beaten last Wednesday night, but the other one was behind Stronger.
Yeah, and Stronger, we know what a good horse he is. He hasn't quite fronted up in his couple of runs this time round, but he's a Group 1 winner just the same. And he's got ability, this horse, for sure. We saw that when he did win a couple of runs ago.
And on that day, there was rain around as well. So, look, with that rain around in his pedigree, I think he's going to go quite well here on the all-weather.
OK, so that's Folds. We move on now to our next replay, and we've got an impressive Super Wind Dragon. That is him right there at the top of the straight. Call Me Teddy's buried in behind in the yellow and orange. Red Desert's out very wide on the course. Flying Bonus, he led up, and everyone's victory. He was very disappointing, and there was nothing in the steward's report. He's been back to the trials since then. But Super Wind Dragon, Paul, the big thing about this guy is not only the win last time, he's drawn a gate on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I don't know if... look, on paper, you're right, but Burial 1 for him. He's not going to lead, and I just wonder with the quick kickback with him. In saying that, look, he has been drawing wide and going back, so there's definitely options now for the team. But if there was a negative, I know that sounds a bit strange, I'd say it's barrier 1.
Yeah, potentially, but he's come through a recent trial at Happy Valley. He looked good in that trial, and he broke 1.8 there for the 1,200 metres, so it was really smart.
California Veins, Tom. This is on the turf last time, but he won't mind coming back to the all-weather because his only start on the surface was a victory.
Yeah, and I don't really know how strong that race was. I don't think it was overly strong. He beat Miracles there. Yes, he stumbled at the start. He was up near the pointy end and probably got conditions to suit. But I sort of question the format of that race. But to his credit, Paul, he's come up and fronted up here in a Class 3 race behind Happy Shearing, and we know he's going exceptionally well at the moment.
Yeah, and look, all that proved, I think, you're right, on that all-weather is that he can handle it. Because he went to the front, he led. He's going to be in the front, he's going to be out of trouble, and the stable's absolutely flying at the moment, Tony Cruz's horses. So, look, I think he's a major chance.
Show Ice Legend here, Paul. He's a horse that you've had some time for in the past. He's had one go on the all-weather. That was over the 1650. 2 runs back from a spell and switches surfaces from this run. His first run up this season was better than this one, though.
Yeah, it was. Look, and again, he's drawn inside as well, barrier 2. He's a horse that gets back. You can see he's better when he's running on strongly. I just don't know if the 2's going to be ideal for him either. I'd prefer him sort of 7 or 8 where he can get back and come down the outside. So, look, I didn't put him in. I know I've been a fan of the horse in the past, but he didn't quite get in for me.
He hasn't been beaten overly far there, and he might have just been slightly balked for a run at the top of the straight. I didn't get him in either, but I didn't think it was the worst of runs there from him, Ice Legend. So I'd be, if you were playing wider exotics, I'd keep him safe.
Benno, this is his record this season, Tom, on the all-weather. It's been an amazing start from 7 runners.
Yeah, well, him and Zach cleaned up, what was it, about the 9th, I think, of October. They cleaned up on the all-weather. 3 wins there, a couple of minor placings, a third as well. And this is what he's got coming up on Wednesday night, Paul. A couple of big boys to start with, Runde's Run and Cool Celeb.
Yeah, they are. Well, Runde's Run's the biggest horse here, isn't he? Fiery Diamond's one of those winners. Yes, We Can was one of those winners as well. So both those 2 are there, and Ice Legend. Handsome 12 was the 3rd. So they're the 3 winners. They're all running again.
Stable worth following again on Wednesday night?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so Benno Young there, 7 starters for 3 wins and 3 placings as well. Back to the trials now, and Chung Fa we head to. Tom Jolly Ruler went to the paddock at the end of the season. A winner last time. What's he done since he's been back?
Well, he did, and that was over Super Wind Dragon. We know that form's been frank there because we saw him a moment ago beating Man Star at his trials. I think have both looked good up at Chung Fa. He's never normally done much, Paul, in his first 2 runs, but he seems to have trialled up pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, he has. And look, I think the surface is good for him as well. He's had 2 goes on it, and he's won one of them as well on the all-weather. So, look, he definitely goes in for me. Not in a win line because, as you say, just that fresh-up record worries me a bit.
OK, we stay at the trials now after Jolly Ruler, and this is Rev Parisian. That's him there, Paul, down on the inside. He's having his 2nd start for Pierre Ung, his first start on the all-weather on Wednesday night. The horse that wins the trial is not a bad animal. He's a horse called Wellington. Yeah,
he goes all right. Now, it was a good trial. There's no question about this. This is a tough field he's come up against. He has got that wide draw, but as Tom says, you can win from a wide draw. He was right on the cusp for me. He didn't quite make it in, but I wouldn't be surprised if he ran well.
Excuses last start, he was wide and he put up with a lameness issue, lame in the left front leg, but he's won his trial here and nicely. Of course, that's Wellington challenging there on the outside, and Pierre Ung, his stable's going really well at the moment also. Yeah, he's drawn a wide draw, but I'm going to include him on that trial for sure.
OK, so that's Rev Parisian. How good was Wellington on the weekend?
Oh, fantastic.
Outstanding.
Yeah, 135 pounds on his back. But we need to concentrate on Wednesday night. In particular, please, Paul, selections for race 8.
I'm going to go with the horse who's 1 for 1 on the surface. That's California Veins. He is with the stable of Tony Cruz going really well at the moment. It just gets a bit of weight off these other horses. Super Wind Dragon, he goes in there for 2nd. Folds for 3rd, and Jolly Ruler, we've talked about all those horses. 9, 2, 7 and 8.
Super Wind Dragon, he was very strong last time out. Whether barrier 1's going to suit him, we'll find out, but he raced away for an easy win by 2.5 lengths and good time as well, 1:7.95 and home in less than 22. So 2 to beat 7 folds. I think he'll certainly come on for the run. He's trialled up well enough leading into this. Jolly Ruler goes in nice enough, 2 trials from him. And I did like the trial there from Rev Parisian as well. And Jerry Chow's found a bit of form in the last week or 10 days and did win that trial nicely there over Wellington. Did Rev Parisian. So 2, 7, 8 and 5.
So they are the selections for race number 8. But there are 9 races on the program, Paul, and that means we need some winners because there's some big jackpots as well throughout the night. So who have you picked out?
Jamie Richards' first run on the all-weather, I think, can win. Call Me Lou, he's got Zach on, and the horse has had a couple of trials and trialled really well. They've changed the tactics with him, gone straight to the front, so he looks good. Winning Steed, I did like his work leading into this. Compulsory, now Compulsory's trialled up really well as well, another one coming onto the surface. Lucky Ruby, a really good second from him last time. I think it wins really close. Youthful Deal, he's by Deep Field, see how he goes on the all-weather. That progeny has run well on the all-weather and has shown a bit of ability, this horse. Turbo Power, like the fact he's coming up to 16.50 for the first time as well. And I thought Viva Hunter might be a bit of value in the last as well. He's El Rocker having his first start on the all-weather as well.
And you can find a race-by-race breakdown of each and every one of those races on the website hkjc.com. Click on audio and video for race-by-race analysis. All right, we need a best bet, please, Bob.
Yeah, Lucky Ruby ran second at his last start. I think he's ready to win. And race number 5, Lucky Ruby and Matthew Chadwick will take the mount on this. Both wins have been on the all-weather, and this is his favourite surface. So that's the best. And as far as the long shot's concerned, going to go on the last. Again, Matthew Chadwick ride. Viva Hunter, son of El Rocker, having his first start on the all-weather, and we've seen that progeny perform really well on the surface before, and he has won a trial on it in the past. The play in race 8 with Super Wind Dragon, Folds and California Veins, 2, 7 and 9.
Best comes up in the main event, and it is race 4, horse 6, Apache Pass, who's drawn the barrier 1 for Pierre Ung, and Derek Lung has been running really well on the turf over 1,000 and 1,400 metres. Sure Joyful, son of Tarzino, stepping to 16.50 for the first time. I think that'll suit. He's had a quiet trial for Ricky Yu and Lyle Hewitson, and the play in that race with Turbo Power, Yes We Can, and Sure Joyful.
Super Wind Dragon, really good last time, draws the inside gate, does have to lump an extra £9 for it, but was the way he did it, and the last little bit he sped right away from them. So race 8, number 2, the best. Race 6, number 3, Prosecco, improved 3.5 lengths at his first 2 runs back, including that last start when beaten 3.5 lengths on the all-weather. And the play, race 6, 3 Prosecco, 4 Youthful Deal and 5 Yellowfin, 3, 4, 5 in a QQP. That has been Sha Tin on Wednesday night. We're at Happy Valley on Sunday, Tom.
Here we are. We've got a good race there, Class 2, 1,200 metres. Campione lining up. The Rock is there with Rewarding Together, Astrologer and Pinghai Galaxy last start winner, Paul.
Yes, there's going to be plenty of pace in that race with both Campione and Pinghai Galaxy in. Should be a good run.
And a big triple trio jackpot too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. It's over 10 million, I think, going into it. So it should be good.
So plenty of jackpots. That has been racing to win, though. We're heading to Sha Tin on Wednesday night. The lights are on already. We'll see you for the first of the 9 races at 6:45. Bye-bye.